Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an episode of the Rob Dog Sport Brief, and we have, once again, instead of Avengers Assemble, Sports Carnival Assemble, and we are better in the world of sports. But we will not save the world because we are not superheroes. Dawson, Thomas, welcome back. How's your summer been so far?
Great intro, by the way. But it's been good. It's been busy, but good. Glad to be back.
Pretty sure I had the farthest distance traveled out of all of us, considering I was helping with the Milwaukee Brewers High A affiliate, the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. And just to start off with minor league baseball, Brewers' top prospects, Pena and Made, were looking pretty good from what I saw when I was there, even though it was really late in the season for them to get called up. Blake Burke wasn't looking too good, but he wasn't looking too bad. I was a bit surprised he got called up. Biloxi, but other than that, after the All-Star break, the Timber Rattlers went downhill, unfortunately.
Yeah, but ultimately, it's like if you look at their roster now with these top guys like Pena, Made, as you mentioned, they're gonna have the single A version of a super team. It seems if they're all sitting in single A next year, which I highly doubt they'll be in high A very long, if at all.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Fisher got called up within like the last week or two as well. I think he was pretty high as well.
So yeah, a lot of like the Brewers' top prospects, from what I saw on there, a lot of them were casually sitting around in high A or just not, or like in single A where there's low A, high A, or just getting to double A where there's still a year or two out. But it's not like the Brewers right now kind of have to worry about expediting them to the show because they are sitting pretty at the moment. They have, I think we can all agree, they have very much overachieved what any of us thought was in the realm of reality this season.
Oh, no question. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to Bill Michaels the other day and open his program. He was calling out like the trolls from earlier on in the season that were just like coming after him. I think he called out when I was listening during the opening monologue. I think he called out like 20 or 30 people who just went after him on Twitter. And mad props to Bill Michaels. I love that. And
I,
then,
I had that on when I was casually doing like, well, too early to do homework right now, thankfully. But when I was doing housework and cleaning the apartment and getting it ready for football season's party, I sat down laughing and went, long as he has the picture of Craig Counsell banging his head on the dugout fence, we're good.
oh my, yes. Yeah. What a season to be a Cubs fan, man. What a season. And frankly, I'm just happy we don't have to deal with the Craig Counsell drama again too, and all that crazy stuff that he's tossing around the wind, right now. What a
Yeah,
time.
when it comes to fans, hats off, moment of silence for Dawson as a Twins fan. Okay. We're sorry, buddy, that the Polands decided to blow up shop and then say they're not selling the team.
Yeah, that was.
And you don't have anything in the farm system either, it looks like.
I can tell you exactly where I was when I found that out. I was in like our office that we're supposed to be in for work, getting ready to head out for parking, But then when I saw that, my entire day was ruined.
Don't worry, Dawson. If to make this might this might not be a lot, but it could help you feel a little better as a Twins fan. Um, you think Thomas and I are going to enjoy it as Brewer fans when Antanasio in the offseason is going to be like, I don't have to spend any money to try to improve the team because the philosophy of not spending money and using my minor leagues has been working. And we're
Wouldn't be
probably going to
surprised with
watch
that.
them. They're going to probably, with Peralta, do what they did with Burns and ship him out. We're going to watch Woodruff at when his contract's expired leave, but as hard as the pills that'll be to swallow, we have Mizorowski, we have Henderson, you got Patrick to eat up innings in the back half of your rotation, so they can go dumpster diving for a couple of inning eater bargain barrel finds and be just fine because they'll still have a really good pitching staff.
Yeah.
See, I honestly can't wait for October to hit because if there is a year the Brewers are going to do it, all the signs are pointing at this year being the year they do it. Like, they have even caught the attention of the national sports guys who usually go, wait, there's a such thing as the Milwaukee Brewers? And I even heard Bill mention this on his show when I was listening to it, that one of the reporters for The Athletic, I think it was Ken Rosenthal, essentially saying that the Brewers, their product of baseball isn't very sexy because they're not chasing the next big analytical term and hitting all these home runs, but they're winning because they're doing what no other team seems to do anymore, and that's the basic fundamentals of baseball. And who would have thought that fundamentals can win you games?
The fundamentals do win you games, and that
I mean, it's basically like the saying, offense wins games, defense wins championships. In this scenario, analytics are the game, defense or fundamentals are the defense.
You can have a nice spreadsheet all you want, but the spreadsheet's not going to be able to stop one of teams knowing that the analytics are going to tell you, oh well, he's going to play this, or so let's take 3 steps back and move 2 steps over, and it'll be like, here comes the bunt with the steal, have fun. That's pretty much what the Brewers have been doing. It's been working, and I'm glad that there is at least one major league team still playing baseball the way it's supposed to be played.
amen.
And man, I should probably go check out my friend who's a Colorado Rockies fan to make sure he's getting through the summer.
I mean, they're not in that sort of trouble, if you know what I'm talking about.
Um,
They avoided that
realistically,
one.
realistically, they still could do it, but I don't see them doing it. But they're gonna come so close, it's not even funny. If it weren't for that stretch in July around the All-Star break, they would be well on pace to have shattered that, which is sad. But I just told him, don't worry. You have Bo Nix under center. You'll be fine, buddy. Just look at that side of the coin. Can you tell he's from the Denver area, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I still need to buy that jersey. I still need to buy a Bo Nix jersey, unfortunately.
Well, I
I
know
don't
where
have
you can
one.
find Bo Nix rookie cards if you want them.
I think we both know.
Yeah, I think you get Dawson. You like it. Thomas. I think you would like that place someday too. I'll tell you more about it when we're off air.
Okay.
But yeah, with that being said, we'll use the Rockies to transition over to the Northwoods. And Dawson, I am sorry that you rooted for the Colorado Rockies of the Northwoods League this year. The Rochester Honkers somehow became the worst team in the history of the Northwoods. How they did it, I don't know. It's honestly
No, they became the Chicago White Sox of the MLB,
that is
technically
true.
speaking.
That's true. Wait, no. No, they became the Cleveland Spiders because they technically still hold the worst record in the entire history due to percentages. White Sox are modern history.
Yep.
But either way, did the Honkers only win like 10, 11 games all summer? Like,
It was something bad like that. No,
I can look it up.
they
I just know that
finished
was.
they finished at 10-26, 12 and a half games behind the Duluth Huskies.
Was that the first half or the second half of the year?
Second half,
Okay, so 10-26 in the second half. What was their first half record before July?
8-28,
So they won 18 games all summer.
18 in a 72
Could
game
have
season.
just clicked overall and then 18 and 54. That's crazy.
All I know is at least the Northwoods League Championship is staying in the state of Wisconsin this year. Thank you, Green Bay. They didn't have to leave the state of Wisconsin. I'm still waiting for
Indeed.
my partner for that one, but whatever. At least they made it and had a good quality product on the field for the third year in a row, so I won't be too upset.
Hmm. Green Bay's gone through three different rebrands though, because they've gone from the Bullfrogs to the Booyah, and now they're the Green Bay Rockers too. So
Because they've gone
they've
through, in that span of time, they've also gone through just as many ownerships, and the ownerships that bought it seem to think that they're like, you know what? It's my team now. I'm gonna rebrand.
yeah.
Because God forbid, when you buy a team, you have the jerseys and everything. Just stay. Why didn't they just stay the Bullfrogs so you didn't have to save money?
I don't know, man. That's why
But
I'm not a
anyway,
business owner.
yeah, the Loggers. They did not look very good in that last playoff series, but the one game I made it to all summer when I wasn't playing ball, that was some pretty good baseball. The Honkers went like, I think it was five and a third, 5 2/3 of no hit ball, and then after that it was a roll back and forth roller coaster, and then went into extra innings. So it was like peak baseball at its finest.
Yeah.
But man, Duluth was like, I'm honestly kind of surprised they lost the championship or at all in the playoffs because if we look at the style of play they had when they, especially in that series versus the Loggers, Duluth was, they were kind of playing a style of baseball similar to the Brewers where they had the speed on the base paths and all they did was run, showing that stealing bases still, again, like the fundamentals say, the analytics say stealing bases do nothing. The fundamentals say it's making the pitcher break a sweat like it did. And at the end, also, from what I saw briefly, and Thomas, you've been to more Logger games and seen more Logger action this summer than me, so you could probably help confirm this. In the
Okay.
second half of the season, their offense was enough to get them there. They had no pitching.
I would agree. Yeah, the offense we were able to bring in some good bats late in the season. Trying to think of some people that we brought in late. I mean, see, I mean Joseph Quelch was one late season acquisition. I mean we had Justin Ralston come in late too as well. Um, Caden Smith as well too, and of course you had like Sabian Flowers and Carson Oland as well too. But you're absolutely right. The pitching just seemed to struggle for sure. Whether it was command, location, just getting some missed calls too by the Northwoods League umpires too. At some points, just the pitching just could not keep things consistent, especially in the most crucial points deep in the game too. Um, so I I don't know. There's not really like a central point that you can necessarily go to. I mean, some pitchers may have just been a little tired. I mean, too, especially come end of July into early August when the team really shrunk and a lot of the players went back to their school and everything too. But you're absolutely right, though. It just did not pan well to have the offense just be putting up good numbers and then the pitching just absolutely um, give up those big leads, give up those big margins, and then you're just left wondering, um, and just in complete shambles as well too.
So yeah, and then one of the things it'll be really interesting to see like what you and Dawson both have to say here too is when I was casually scrolling Instagram, I saw something by Baseball America about like the summer leagues and and the coaches on it, and I'll read you guys the headline here on it and see what you guys think of this. Uh, it says, "Is summer ball in trouble?" And then and it's talking about how like a landscape like loyalty to programs is kind of at it's like the most shaky ground it's been on basically because of NIL transfer portal being crazy. It's they put on here. This is what they put word for word on one of the slides. In a landscape where loyalty to programs can be fickle at best, summer ball has become less an opportunity to improve than it is a showcase for coaches to look to pluck talent from other teams to bolster their own. And then they also later go, you go to the Cape, and now you have half the time you're not watching your own kid, you're watching someone else's and hoping he jumps into the portal to pluck him away. And then while these coaches continue to fish from all these other teams' rosters that sent their players there to work on improvements and get a name for themselves in front of college, well, obviously not just colleges, but like major league scouts, just like they do in the Northwoods. You got coaches going, no, I don't want you there because I want to keep you here for no rhyme or reason, even if the coach doesn't care and had you on his bench as a redshirt freshman not caring about you. He's gonna make you go a whole year without playing ball. Or say, nope, the best you can do is I want you to play for the town ball league where I don't have to worry about anything at all. So what's you guys' opinions on why they're saying summer ball leagues like the Cape Cod and Northwoods are facing some interesting troubles in trying to figure out how they're going to adapt to coaches being scared of that now too, especially from the lower divisions?
I mean, I think maybe it has something to do with how the like landscape of college baseball in general, between that college basketball and college football, like those sports might be turning into like basically minor leagues for the professional leagues or developmental leagues as some people call it. So maybe it's just saying if you're just here to have a good time, then just play in this town ball league where people aren't trying to get better. They're more so trying to just have fun and be in shape, I guess.
Well, you know, the Northwoods League is widely acclaimed for being a developmental place and start for players to play in front of scouts, and also a great way to still continue to play baseball in the summer and do it obviously in a very well known league as well too. Um, and obviously those are quite some strong words that the article says as well too. Summer leagues, I feel still have that dominance. I feel in my mind, in and still have that relevancy of players wanting uh, to utilize um, that option as well too. And again, it's a great way just um, to continue to play baseball outside of the academic year and continue to work on your game. And it's a great place. Obviously, I think if you look on the pitching side, I mean, pitchers can experiment, with new arsenals, like maybe throwing in like a slider or like um, like a two-seam fastball or just new pitches, and obviously, trying to improve, their command, their speed. I mean, if you think more or less for a fielder, just trying to be more versatile in the field, and I mean, obviously, I think more or less just trying to improve more of who you are as a baseball player too, and whether or not obviously you get the attention of Major League Baseball scouts. Um, um, Why that's great. I think again the biggest thing and the biggest push for these summer leagues is for players um, to be able, obviously, to get that experience in the league, and also to just really develop more um, and just improve over that long summer before they head back for the next year of their baseball season, I think.
So to say, yeah, that's like what both of you guys said on there. That's why I don't think like ultimately these summer leagues are going to be in a lot of trouble. But one of the things that Baseball America on the Instagram post it didn't mention, but I'm sure is brought up somewhere at some point in the article, is how there used to be like an entire minor league somewhere out west that the MLB gutted and basically turned it into a what the Northwoods League and the Cape Cod are, but sponsored by Major League Baseball, which also is probably part of the equation here because magically Major League Baseball did that after this three-letter thing, an NIL, became part of college sports. But yeah, the Northwoods League, the Cape Cod, all these summer leagues, they'll still have their place. Some of the crowd that seems to think if you're not D1, you're not good enough or talented, is going to have to get over it because there's a lot of guys from like JUCO, D3, D2, NAIA who make it to the pros, but these D1 guys don't go anywhere. So I honestly could see them doing just fine. And honestly, sometimes watching the JUCO guys playing or the D3 guys playing all summer, you could see which ones are truly there just because they want to be because they're enjoying the game, and which ones are I'm just here to try and make a name for myself.
No, that is 100% true.
The one thing I don't think is going to be a problem, but it's also because there isn't, from what I know, there isn't any other league like it. There's is summer college softball. far as I know, there's only the one summer league. And how the Northwoods League beat out these other parts of the country to it, I don't know. But it's been an interesting product. There,
Hmm.
I still don't know how they made it work with 5 teams and couldn't find another Northwoods League city to have an even 6 to make scheduling and things easier. But from what I could see, briefly watching on my phone during rain delays once, the product still looked pretty good.
Yeah, I would say it definitely wasn't as good of a year as their inaugural season, but again, it's only year two. They're looking obviously for expansion more, um, and looking at more of their baseball teams that have that option to have a softball team. I believe they're looking at next year. They're going to have a team in North Dakota, if I'm not mistaken. I saw that.
That was
Um,
to say that's isn't that the one where I asked you if if it seemed a little odd that they were advertising that team going to, like, what was it, Fargo, but all their
yeah,
pictures were the player was players and mascot for Minot, which usually means one city's losing that town their team for the next city,
hmm
which
yeah.
that
Oh,
would
I'm
really
sorry. What I was
suck.
going to say there is like that's going to be really interesting to see. Like I I don't think that that means um, the Minot honeybees are going, or they're looking to do some sort of conglomeration of combining. But it did bring up, I would say for sure when I first saw it, definitely more questions I would say than than answers for sure. And
So say I also know, looking at it, like, I'm sure Dawson, you've seen some of the video highlights and clips too of how it's softball games being played on a baseball field with a big pitching mound in the middle of their infield. If they said that they'd be playing on an actual college softball stadium, which means that team will be the only team in the league with an actual softball field, not playing on a turf baseball field, which is, I have no idea why these Northwoods teams didn't think, hey, we can still have it here, but we should probably use a softball field so no one, because that was, I remember opening day last year, it was really funny watching their middle infield go, what the, when they watched the softball, they go boing off a baseball mound, to where the ball players for baseball, we'd be used to it. We just go, yep, there it is. Softball, they're like, what the heck? It went from a ground ball to a pop up, essentially.
exactly. Not only that, but obviously, we had to put up, a temporary softball fence every single softball game too, and then tear it down, and then, obviously staying, late nights. I remember the inaugural season having, you know, to set up and tear down that fence, too after games, and that was just a lot. And I think it would definitely just be an easier um, load. I think if you were able to, I think like come and like find a spot with an actual just softball landscape and layout, yeah, to be able to field the team, too. I mean,
Well,
because
I've seen just about all the local baseball and softball fields in the area on it. I know of it. There is one high school where, and they sponsor Luther, because Luther, they have a nice little thing on the softball outfield fence for them, and then the Steam and Loggers have a nice little thing in their gym. Pick up the phone and say, "Can we use your softball field so we have an actual facility, that like an actual ball field to play on?" Or if it has to be college regulation, pick up the phone with Viterbo, because then you at least have an actual softball field. Well, parking will be interesting. That's, um, I hate to say it. Well, the Steam draws some good crowds on the. They always get like their first one and their last one's always the biggest, but the rest of the season, you could get away with probably using a high school field because that's about the average crowd you could fit there.
Yeah. Yeah, crowd sizes this season, from what I saw, were not nearly as high. I think when I was doing my ticket sales as an intern this summer, were not nearly as high as quite as I quite thought. Considering the success that we had, the advertising and just being able to get the word out to more and more fans, it still just it was it was very sparse for sure. But you're absolutely right. I mean, the first game and the last game were probably two of the most highly attended games, and then all the other, 34 games that we had. Um, while there was good, passion, and we were still able to bring out groups, it just sizing wise, it just really didn't, obviously compete with the loggers, and you can't give them too much, hurt for that. And obviously, they don't open, the party deck cabins as well for them to, compare to the loggers, because that's under the loggers' stake, so to speak, too. But you know, honestly, I mean, heading into year three next summer in 2026, I mean, I'm obviously hoping to see, something hopefully change and be able to bring in, you know, a packed out crowd in there too. But in this off season period that is to come, we'll just have to see, I guess, what happens and what changes, if anything, are made. You know.
So yeah, I'm sure Dawson here, as someone who, after working with like a minor league team, so he know how like the minor leagues marketing and stuff to keep people wanting to come works too. We'll probably agree with this. Same with you here, Thomas. Of like year one and two are like okay, we'll take what we get. Year three and on is usually the the determining factor of is this going to be stable longevity run or not, and will be interesting to where they're going to have to, instead of just like trying to appease to like some of the markets they have been, they're going to have to like hit harder and actually the way the loggers have advertisements on TV, you're going to have to advertise the softball team on TV and the radio as well. Put a few, not just a couple billboards placed around like near the north side or interstate, and then the one random one on the south side by that Walmart there. And they're going to actually have to hit the advertising trail hard and put in a few more, sprinkle in a few more promos here and there where fans actually have incentive to want to go. And that'll determine if it's going to truly survive in the long run or not.
Mhm.
Rob, I think you're on the right path. And just from what I've seen this summer, it's not just like advertising using billboards. I feel like using social media as an advertising platform more than like just a post here, post there, and whatever. Like posting like your theme nights or whatever for each home game, or like here's a deal if you come to this game, you can get a, let's say, like a Steam baseball cap. The first whatever amount of fans get a Steam baseball cap or a bobblehead of some sort. Like, you would not believe how many people would show up, like, we wouldn't even be out for parking, and we'd have people showing up like really early just to get in line for a bobblehead. And then some of those people would be like, "Oh, I got my bobblehead, I'm out." And it's just, in a sense, it can kind of be annoying, but you also would hope to have some sort of incentive to get more fans to come.
So yeah, I can see enough because like after the season ends, it's like that first week after the end of the season they'll still post, but it's like from then the loggers social media team's kind of just as guilty at this too. It's like from now until like probably mid like early to mid April, their social media pages are gonna be radio silent basically, and that's if that like you said, Dawson, that's gonna hurt them if they don't hit the social media hard because that's where a lot of us go. But that being said, and I think we've beaten the summer sports for now as best we can. We'll let it sit and rest and recharge till next summer. It is unfortunately football season. So, with that being said, the Packers, I really can't say a whole lot on them because I haven't seen as much preseason for them because I just, when they've been on TV lately, I've been working, so I can't. Let's see. Yeah, their first preseason game when they were on, I was up in River Falls playing baseball. Their second one was on when I was working, so I haven't seen a single snap of Packers football. I'm sure Thomas has been all over it.
Mm-hmm.
So, from what I've heard, they there's like on Wisconsin Sports Talk, they're all trying to figure out what would be the identity of the Packers. Which, if you ask me, it's simple: ground and pound offense and smash mouth defense. But that's not the attractive brand anymore. So the media and fans kind of don't want that to be Packer football anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So what have you seen, Thomas, from the preseason and stuff so far that wouldn't be like the tidbits that's all over like Twitter and stuff like that?
Yeah, the more minute. I so I only saw the game last week because their game on August 9th at 7 p.m. I was working a logger game that day as well. But the game from what I saw last week, I was able to watch the whole game. Um, you know, I really think we got some good young talent for sure on the team. I thought, obviously Malik Willis, looked fine um, out there. Um, there were some tight ends, including the Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick looked good out there too. Let's see what else. Early on, I know. I mean, Colts were just tearing us up early. Mo Alley Cox, um, that age-old guy is still tearing it up out there too. And you know, I didn't know this, but it was really interesting, just to hear about the Packers quarterback that they brought in from the Canadian Football League. And obviously their rules are a lot different than the NFL, including, playing with 12 players too. But I'll tell you what, that guy was like slinging it all over the place for sure. And I I think he could make it on the practice squad. I don't know if he's going to make it officially on the roster for sure, but from what I saw, that certainly looks like some good talent. That we were able to see as Packer fans for sure. Excuse me. Um, you know, Packers were able to come back as well too. After being down early, it's preseason, and you know, a win is a win, but I really want to see for sure what happens next week. Uh, on the 23rd too. I won't be able to watch the full game in its entirety. I'll only be able to catch the highlights. You know, but as I've been saying, and not to beat a dead horse, I'm happy with what I'm seeing with the team. I think there are some players that are really going to make a run for the 53 here, uh, coming up in the next 7-14 days for sure too. And it should be an interesting last few weeks of training camp too to watch to see these players fight it out too. So overall, I'm quite pleased. I'm no complaints from my end, so to speak.
So yeah, I know from like what I've seen early on, but it's normal for just about every rookie um, wide receiver when they're adjusting from like the stuff they were able to get away with on just like relying solely on speed, with a little bit of talent dipped in here and there. Like Golden shown the glimmer and why he was taken where he was by Green Bay, but he's also at times with some of the reps that I have seen shown that he's making some of the rookie mistakes where he's still going thinking that he can beat an NFL defensive back just solely off some of his speed, the way he was able to 19-year-old kid in college,
Hmm.
and learning really quick that he's not going to be able to. But from everything I've seen, I do agree with some of what the fans are saying. Also, guys, mark it on the calendar. The Bear fans agreeing with Packer fans on something. Uh, it it the Packers. Well, honestly, like I said, I can make the argument that their identity is ground and pound offense. They're gonna run the rock and then smash mouth defense, like it was just like when we first started watching football growing up with like the Ray Lewis and Brian Urlachers of the world. They're going back to that. But ultimately, I do see their arguments of trying to figure out what their identity is, because Matt LaFleur he's a good coach, but at the same time, it's like he shows why the fans always question him at times too. And he's been showing a lot more of that this year so far in the preseason than I've seen in the past, and has me kind of also seriously wondering, was the early success that landed him this job as long as it has solely because of Aaron Rodgers in those first 3 years when he had Rodgers and didn't really have to worry about it?
Wow, that's that's a good thing to ponder. I mean, legitimately. But like I mentioned, overall, I'm impressed. You know, we did get banged up a little bit too. I was watching, obviously saw some guys uh, get hit. I mean, big one. I mean, was one of our safeties, Omar Brown, chest contusion, and then yeah, I mean Jordan Love. Yeah, yeah, yep. I wasn't gonna forget about my man too. It's really funny how the media was talking about him too. Saying during practice, I think it was the last week, they he was casted up, and then they put like some sort of bag around it too, and then the media was playfully joking with him too and asking, "Oh, is it a festival bag? Oh, a Menards bag, don't you know?" So I thought that was kind of funny, but um, you know, we got Marshawn Lloyd that went down too, Baron Sorrell. But what really scared me a little bit too was the kicking situation. We had this Irish lad, McNamee, and he went 3 for 5. But there were some kicks, especially a couple that were under 40 yards, that I was just like, I was just like, you have to make those. Again, it's preseason. It's okay to get the struggle bus a little bit out of the way and to suffer through some of those kicks wide left, wide right. But when push comes to shove, and when we actually get going, and if LaFleur, for some unbeknownst reason, does decide to go with him instead of McManus, which I don't think is going to happen, but he would need to show me a lot more um, confidence, just be able to drill those, especially in in big games down the wire, fourth quarter game, you know. So, but that was just another thing too. The kicking situation I thought was subpar, and I thought we could have seen a little bit more from McNamee, but
So say it
overall,
sounds
not
like
horrible.
that kicker's got he sounds like he's literally just using Green Bay to try and latch onto our practice squad because everyone knows the Packers already have a kicker.
Hmm.
So though,
Yeah.
if the Packers cut McManus after extending him, I would
Oh, wow.
have some questions. Like he would have to really, really fumble the ball here.
Hmm.
I would say he'd kick his job away, but he would have to somehow look at Cody Parkey and say, "I one upped you here." But
Exactly.
yeah,
You
it's
have to
gonna
do
be
a triple
interesting.
doink.
Yep, the double doink. The one that the team I got to actually see the my first glimmer of Williams and the Ben Johnson offense when it was on national TV. And again, it's preseason, so I'm gonna take it with a grain of salt. But I liked what I saw from the Ben Johnson offense with the starters out there, and Williams looked pretty good, and so did Loveland, Komet. Literally, the entire offense was firing on all cylinders, and at one, the thing that had me going, "Let's go," was when the camera caught it where after Williams was able to hit the receiver in rhythm, you could see Ben Johnson going, "There we go, that's what it's supposed to look like." And I'm going, he Williams actually has a coach this time around that's gonna coach him. But yeah, the Bears. Williams it's an interesting situation because he'll do stuff like that, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, he's been great," but then they'll turn around and be like, "He's struggling. He can't even hit the stationary net." And I'm like, okay, and I'm sure Ben Johnson's working on it with them,
Hmm.
but it'll be interesting to see how the Bears do when they kick off the season Monday night in front of the whole country. Hopefully, I'm not apologizing to America. And sadly, I probably will be working that game, but whatever. It is what it is. Um, so that'll be interesting to see the Bears. I really loved what I saw of their um, second round pick, Luther Burden, and the way he was fearlessly just putting down blocks and blocking for guys, too. And he has the speed to blow the top off of a defense, too. Hopefully, he doesn't turn into Watson because Christian Watson looked the exact same in preseason with the blocks and speed, and we know how that ended. But, yeah. And I'm sure we all can agree here. Detroit's not going anywhere. Their defensive fronts is going to be brutal. They also have, I think they have like damn near $50 million cap space to play with going into next offseason too. So, it's going to be really interesting because this time around, I'm going to be sitting there during free agency and going, yeah, my team doesn't have the money to do anything again. While the Packers and Lion fans are going to be like, let the fun commence. And now, we asked Dawson about his little ponies, Broncos.
I mean, I haven't seen much. I maybe caught a few plays against Arizona, but I was also working, so I mean, as long as Bo Nix and Sean Payton are on the same page as they were last year, I think we'll be fine.
I think they will be too. And hold on, everyone, let's grab a notebook and a pencil. We're gonna have some fun going down and with the seasons and predicting and trying to figure out how our favorite teams do. So we're gonna have a Packer fan, a Bronco fan, and a Bear fan playing America's favorite game of try and pencil in what you think your team is going to do this year. Again, this is definitely America's favorite game because we do it every year. So, which team shall we start out with? The Packers, the Broncos, or the Bears?
I mean, I already have the Broncos pulled up. If you guys want to start with the Broncos, that's totally fine with me.
Rock and roll.
Go for it.
Week 1 is against Tennessee. I think unless Cam Ward really showed that he was worth the number 1 pick, I think Denver is winning that game. My guess is probably, I'd say 28-7. Week 2 at Indy. Pretty sure they said Daniel Jones was going to be the starter week 1. So,
Yep, they named Daniel Jones the starter for the season.
How about
We'll see how
that?
long it lasts.
so I mean, realistically, I think that would be another win, just in the fact that if Bo Nix plays as good as he did last year, I think he'd pretty much mop the floor with Indy. Probably like 35-7, I'd say. It's probably the score.
So the offense is going to be amazing, and the defense will also be amazing in the first 2 weeks.
That's my guess, but never know. Okay, at Chargers, the fact that they've said there are more away fans than home fans, I still think Harbaugh is going to find a way to outsmart us, at least the first week.
Better protect your signs. Also, I better change that from San Diego to LA.
And I would say it's going to be a loss, but it's going to be close. Probably like 28-21. Week 4 against Cincy. This one's a revenge game for sure. Cincinnati's gonna be coming for blood. I don't know. Like, this game, I feel like it's probably like 30-27 Cincy in overtime, unfortunately.
So he has the defense for Cincy actually holding. Alrighty. So,
That's through the first 4 weeks. I gotta go grab my charger quick, but I'll be
alright.
back.
So then, Thomas, how do you have your cheese eaters doing in the first 4 weeks so far?
Oh, the cheese. The cheese, the cheese. Okay, week 1. Detroit Lions. Obviously, tough Detroit Lions team that's coming into town. I am going to pencil in a win on this one. However, I think it's going to be close. I'm going to say score prediction. It's going to be a high scoring game, I think. 31-28, I think. That's what I'll go with.
You think Detroit's defense will be like that? Alright. That would be interesting.
No. Washington Commanders coming to town. Gold package game on Prime. That is... that's another one where I see... I think the Packers are going to win that one as well. And it should be, I think, a pretty comfortable win. But don't count out the Commanders. The Commies know what's up. So I'm going to say for that one, I'm going to say about 28-14 on that one.
Wow, you think that they're going to lose by 2 touchdowns? What are you on?
Are you high? No. No, I'm...
Remember, kids,
trying to...
this was just us mocking a comedy character as a joke. Do not ever try and be like that character.
No.
If you know what we're referencing.
At the Cleveland Browns. You know, I've been thinking about this, and obviously they've named Joe Flacco their starter. I think, and it pains me to say this, I think the Packers could see an upset from the Browns coming that week. And
It's a bold strategy and bold prediction, Cotton.
I know, but there's something in me telling me that Joe Flacco might have something up his sleeve.
The Tyler Huntley game.
Yeah.
QB5.
I'm gonna say for that one, it's probably gonna be somewhere around the realm of Cleveland. Cleveland 21, Packers 20. Something like that. Actually, I should look at what the lines are.
Honestly, I can see the Cleveland one has me scratching my head on how you're seeing this because I just don't see it because it's the Browns and how they're ran right now. But the first 2 weeks, I'm like, I can honestly see going either way.
Okay. At the Cowboys. Well, there's so much going on with the Jerry Jones drama and Micah Parsons and oh my goodness gracious. Wow. Okay. I think I'm gonna have to go with the Packers here. There's too much just going on in the Cowboys organization and too much outside noise with the Cowboys. I'm going to give this one to the Packers by a final score of 35 to 21. This one I really see as being a high-scoring game. And right now, that's what the books are looking at too. Right now, having the over/under at 47.5.
And somehow the Packers find a way to lose to the bye week, week 5. Because everyone always says they're going to lose everyone jokingly says their team loses the bye week.
And yeah, it's early. I'm just hoping that the injury bug isn't hopefully too bad by then. Honestly, we're gonna have to wait and see about that one.
Yeah, don't worry. Chicago's bye week is also week 5, so I never understood why teams get a week off that early.
Mm-hmm. Post bye week, the Packers hosted the Cincinnati Bengals. I see that one. Uh, I see that one. I'm gonna give them. I'm gonna give them a loss. I think there. I think. I think the kitty might go meow on this one, and Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow has had some rough seasons the past two 3 years, and I think this game we might see him be lighted up a little bit too. I think it'll be kind of relatively close. Like I'm talking like a touchdown or 10-point game. So I'm going to say for this one, I'm going to say about 31, like 31-21. I'm going to say kind of for that game. Packers sadly losing. Then Packers go out west to the Cardinals for America's game of the week. I see them beating the Cardinals. I have loved what I'm seeing from Kyler Murray. However, I think the Packers just have a little too much. And they'll get that win by a final of, I think, 28-17 is what I'm going to go with on that one. Next, after that, the Steelers traveling on Sunday Night Football. Aaron Rodgers coming back into the frame. You know, I've been thinking about this game for quite some time. And in all honesty, I think that this game will not be as close as people think. And just, what the heck. I'm going to give them the win, and I'm going to say we're going to get the win 31-0. We'll toss a Hail Mary up on that one. And just, we're Packer fans, we're kind of done with the Rodgers drama, and we'd love to get them a smack of their own medicine, for sure. We'll keep her moving. Oh, the Panthers. The Panthers. I'm going to give them a win on that one, too. I'm going to say that one's probably going to be around the realm of about 31-7. The Panthers are still, I think, in a rebuilding of the team still, and as much as I want to give them credit, and they've lost Christian McCaffrey too, and that team is, I don't know. I don't know about the Panthers this year. We'll keep her moving. The Eagles, so we'll win on that one. The Eagles come to town. Monday Night Football, Jalen Hurts, the defending champions. This one's going to be close. However, November game, I think the Eagles might have a slight edge on this one. It's going to be close. I think this one might come down to a field goal on this one. So I'm going to say 34-31 on this game. I think we could see a pretty explosive game. But gosh dang it, I do not want to see a rematch, us muffling punts like we did in the NFC in the championship game. I'm sick and tired of that. So as long as we don't see that, I just am hoping for a pretty highly competitive game in that front as a whole. Keeping her moving at the Giants. Pencil that an easy dub. And I'm going to say for that one's going to be about a 34-17 game. at home against the Vikings right before eating the turkey cobbler. For this one, I think we're going to see Packers come out pretty strong. Obviously, J.J. McCarthy, um, he's looking good through my eyes. Um, I think the Vikings might potentially shock us and come out with the win on that one. So the Packers will take the L on that one. I think it'll be close, relatively speaking, so about a touchdown or a 10-point game. But I'm going to give this one a little more low scoring. I think I'm going to say this one might be around like a 23-17 win for the Vikings on this one. And I think J.J. McCarthy might surprise some people, I think, this season too. But we'll keep her moving at the Lions on Thanksgiving in the noon slot on Fox. I think there have been a couple games recently that just have not fared well for us. However, I have a feeling, just a gut feeling that the Packers will come out of there victorious, and I think we will be able to hand the Lions a loss. I give the Packers the win by a score of 30 to 23. Another close game, but Packers come out on top. And then we come to first week of December, snow, and the tundra comes into full effect with the Chicago Bears coming to town, Rob's team. And Rob, I love you, but I feel a Packers win coming, and I'm going to say for this one, it's going to be 28 to 17. Packers get that one done. But surprise the world, Rob. Surprise the world at that time. Anything could happen. And now I get to pick on Dawson now, traveling up 5,280 feet above sea level, second week of December, for a wonderful 325 game on CBS. Dawson, this may shock you, but I think Bo Nix might have a really good game, legitimately, this time, and I'm going to give the Broncos a win on this one. And I'm going to go with about a 27 to about 21 victory for them in that game too. Obviously, down the stretch, could be hammered a bit by some
Thomas,
injuries.
I'm going to stop you right there. You were so close to getting the score prediction I was going to have for that game.
Really?
For that game, I had Denver winning 24-20.
Wow. I like that. And then the last 3 weeks, coming back, ain't that crazy how the script works. We come back and go to Chicago. I think we sweep the Bears and then this time I think it's going to be by a score of about 28 to 14. I think on that one for a W. Week 17, the Ravens. Believe it or not, I loved. Fun fact to the audience: I loved the Ravens actually growing up. I was actually a huge Joe Flacco fan. I was not a bandwagon, but all the Ravens of old. But Lamar Jackson. Oh, Lamar Jackson. I think he might have a really good game. And I think I'm going to pencil in an L for this one. Packers lose 31 to 28. I think it's going to be close, but I think I'm going to give the Ravens a slight edge on this one. And then to wrap up the season in Minnesota at US Bank, I am going to give the Packers a split on the season with them giving them the win, and by a final, I'm going to say, ooh, this may be more low scoring. I think maybe potentially by the week's end, I'm going to give them a win by this final of about 21-14. I think.
Alrighty, so Dawson, now you got a charge. You want to finish finish what you have written down for your team, and then I'll get to mine, because I was monitoring a couple other things and trying to write. So just make sure I have everything written down quick.
Very good.
Yeah, I stopped at Cincy, correct?
Yep. Who's
Yes.
week 5?
Okay. Next is against Philadelphia. Unfortunately, I think that's one we're gonna lose. Just in the fact that it's in Philly, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's at Philly. I just don't think Philly's gonna I think they're just gonna find a way to beat us, or we're gonna beat ourselves. Final score 35-14. Week 6 is at one of the worst fields in the NFL, MetLife Stadium, against the Jets. I think we're going to win that one. No hate on Justin Fields, but I just don't think his weapons on offense is going to help him that much. I think the final score is going to be 38-14. Then the next week. Okay, now whose idea was it to give us both New York teams back to back?
That'd be Roger Goodell.
Oh, my bad. Just saw that the New York Jets game is overseas,
Even better.
so it won't be at the turf monster of MetLife. Week 7 is against the Giants at home. I think we're gonna win that one rather handily, 30-7. Next, we're gonna be at home against Dallas. I don't see this one being as big of a win, but I think we're gonna win it 21-10, especially if there is no Micah Parsons, if he's already traded by then. Who knows? But I also don't think Dak Prescott is the right QB under center, and the way Jerry Jones makes his decisions, I'm not entirely sure that they'll do that good. Next is at Houston. I think we're going to lose that one 24-20. It's going to be a close one, but I think, if anything, the Texans are going to have the last drive and win it. Next is at home versus the Raiders. And I think we're going to win that one 28-24. I think this one's going to be close, but Pete Carroll's going to at least figure something out to keep them in it, but I think it'll be too late. Week 11 against the Swifties. I think the final's going to be 36-30. We're going to win. I really feel like we're going to have the last possession to win it. Then week 12 is the Broncos bye week. Week 13, I hope I can watch this game. The Broncos versus the Commanders. Oh, sweet. It's the nightcap. Let's go. But unfortunately, I think the final's going to be 28-16 Commanders. Week 14 in Las Vegas, I think it's going to be Denver winning 35-14. I already said week 15 was going to be a win against the Packers, 24-20. Week 16, I think the final is going to be 36-7 against Jacksonville. Week 17 against the Swifties at Arrowhead, I think the final is going to be 29-21 Swifties. And then to round out the season, I think we're going to lose to the Chargers 21-7. So, final record prediction 10-7 with a playoff berth. Best case scenario.
Alright, and now, ladies and gentlemen, we get to pop the popcorn and have fun because I'm going to, I'm actually looking, I had the fan blinders on partially but not completely, if that makes sense. This might be one of the most realistic Bear fan predictions ever. Week 1, I have us beating Minnesota 28-24 and me having to be revived from my couch after work. Week 2 is going to be bury me away from the TV 35-36 in favor of the Lions. 35-6, not 36. 35-6 Detroit. I don't think the Bears O-line can handle Hutchinson and the entire Lions front quite yet. Week 3, they'll beat Dallas 28-21 in an interesting game. Week 4, they will beat the Raiders 21-7. Week 5 is the bye week and we'll somehow lose. Week 6, I have them losing another heartbreaker to Washington 17-14. I have them in week 7 blowing out New Orleans 35-7 because the Cow Saints. I don't know what a Cow Saint is, but the Saints have no quarterbacks or anything down there really. Week 8, I have them losing 28-10 to Baltimore. Week 9, I see them losing 35-10 to Cincy or week 9, not week 5. Week 9, they lose 35-10 to Cincy because typical Bear fashion. Week 10, they'll win 28-14 over the New York Giants. Week 11, I have them beating the Vikings 28-17. Week 12, I see them losing 28-24 to Pittsburgh and Rodgers taunting us one more time. Week 13 is once again keep me away from the TV 42-10 Philadelphia. Week 14, Chicago 28, Green Bay 27. And all of us glued to the very final throw of the ball. Week 15, Chicago 21, Chicago 28, Cleveland 21. Week 16, same story, one of the Bears winning 28-27, all of us glued to our TVs again. Definitely just didn't copy and paste it because that's what I wanted to do to make it sense. And then week 17, they lose 21-10 to the Niners. And then week 18, they get blown out of the water by Detroit 35-9. And I see them finishing the year at 9-8 and me breaking out the grass skirt because they have 9 wins.
Oh.
That's probably one of the most realistic Bear predictions you will hear all year, folks.
So if you get your prediction right, Are we gonna be able to see you dancing in a grass skirt in the snow?
No, that's just a figure of speech. I'm not gonna scare everybody in Stoddard. I'm not gonna scare everyone in town here. Though, because Dawson, didn't you say you had the Broncos beating Green Bay? Because if my prediction's right, and then the Broncos sandwiched in between there also beat the Packers, we are gonna have a fun 3 weeks on campus. That would be a fun 3 weeks. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, now that we got at the hour 20-minute mark, I think we've covered everything, all the T's or dots, the I's are crossed, however that saying goes. And we have officially slid safely into home plate to end it here. And until then, remember, go Brewers, because we are the best team in baseball, and screw the Cubs.